Hi friends, this is Alicia from Malinka Yarncraft. Welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, I will show you how to crochet the flower stitch. There are several different variations of this stitch. One of them is called the tulip stitch, but the tulip stitch has more of a 3D flower pattern where it really pops out of the fabric, and this is a more of a flat version of that. As far as the difficulty level, I would rate this somewhere between beginner and intermediate. So if you are a beginner and you have worked a few projects with single and double crochets, I encourage you to try this stitch as well. I think it would be perfect for a blanket, but it could make a really fun summer top as well. For this stitch, we will need at least 3 different colors of yarn. So we will need a white or a cream as a base. We will need a green color yarn for the leaves and really any color for the flowers, so depending on your preference. In this swatch I have pink and red flowers. You can also do purple, yellow, it really depends on your preference. So you will need at least 1 color for the flowers. You can also do 3-4 colors, really as many colors as you would like. Since we are using a lot of different colors, you have to keep in mind that we will have a lot of tails left over after we finish with this project. So if you do end up making a blanket, I recommend that you work a double border here so you can hide all of these tails and don't have to weave any of them in. In today's video, I will be using 3 different colors of medium weight cotton yarn and a 5mm hook. You can also use acrylic yarn or any yarn of your preference. Just make sure that you use the appropriate hook size for your yarn choice. Alright, so let's get started. So we're going to start with the white yarn. So go ahead and make a slip knot and place it on your hook. For this pattern, we're going to need to chain any multiple of 3 and then add 1 more. So you can keep counting in 3s until your chain is long enough for your project and then add 1 more. I'm going to make a smaller sample for the tutorial and work 15 plus 1. So I'm going to have a total of 16 chains. Okay, so I have 16 chains. So 15 is my multiple of 3 and then I added 1 more. For our first row, we're going to work a row of single crochets. So starting in the second chain from the hook, we're going to work 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, you're going to insert your hook into that second chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. So we're going to work single crochets all the way across. So 1 single crochet in every chain, starting with the second chain from the hook. Okay, so here at the end of row 1, you should have the number of stitches equal to that multiple of 3 that you started with. So when you chained a multiple of 3 and then you added 1 more, so basically I have 15 stitches here. And I do recommend that you write this down or try to memorize this count because you will need this later on. You will have to match the stitch count here after we work our first round of flowers here. You will have to match the stitch count once you go back to working those rows of single crochets here in between the flower pattern. Okay, so go ahead and write down how many single crochets you have at the end of row 1. Row 2, we're going to work 1 more row of single crochets. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to work 1 single crochet in the very first stitch right here, and then work 1 single crochet in every stitch across. Okay, so go ahead and finish your row of single crochets. And I do want to show you here real quick that you can customize the width of these rows here. So if you do want to have more rows of these single crochets in between your flowers, you can work more than 2 rows here of the single crochet. So you can do 3, 4. It really depends on whether or not you want to have a little bit more space between your flowers. So I'm just going to do 2. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row of single crochets, and then I'll meet you back here so we can get started on the leaves. Okay, so after you're done with row 2, we're going to have to switch to the green color. So we're going to start working on the row with the leaves. If you're familiar with color changes, you can change your colors in any method that you prefer. I changed my colors on the last pull through of the last stitch of the previous row. So basically my last single crochet here, I'm going to go 1 step back before I finish that single crochet. So if I start a single crochet here and I won't finish it with this color, I'm going to bring in my green yarn, and I'm going to the last pull through with my green yarn here. Go ahead and tighten this up. Okay. Now we can snip the white yarn right there. We're going to continue with the green one. So for this next row, row 3, we're going to start by chaining 3. So you're going to chain 3 and turn 1, 2, 3, and turn. Then we're going to work a V-stitch in our next stitch. So not the very first one here, but the next one. We're going to work a V-stitch. A V-stitch is a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. So go ahead and yarn over, insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 1 double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1 and work 1 more double crochet in the same stitch. So yarn over, go into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next we're going to skip 2 stitches, and into that next one we're going to work another V-stitch. So yarn over, skip 2 stitches, and into the next one work 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet. We're going to repeat this pattern until we have 1 stitch left in the row. So we're going to skip 2 and work a V-stitch into the next one. Skip the next 2 and work a V-stitch in the next one. Skip 2 and work a V-stitch into the next one. At the end of the row, once you have only 1 stitch left, you're going to work 1 double crochet into that last stitch. So yarn over and go into that last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now the next row, we're going to work our flowers. So we're going to have to change colors again. We're going to do it the same way. So on the last pull through of the last stitch of the previous round. So this is our previous round. I'm going to go 1 step back, and I'm going to bring in my pink yarn and do this last pull through with my pink yarn. Here we go. Now I can go ahead and snip the green, and I'm going to continue working with my pink yarn. To start the next row, we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. Now we're going to be working into the chain 1 spaces, so right in the middle of those V stitches. And this is where we're going to work our flower pattern. The flower pattern is made up of double crochet 4 together. So I will show you how we work those 4 double crochets together. first you're going to start as if you were starting to work a double crochet. So yarn over, go into that chain one space, yarn over and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through two and stop here. So we're not going to finish off this double crochet. Instead, we're going to start a next one. So yarn over, go into the same space, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. Again, we're not going to finish this one. We're going to start on the next double crochet. Yarn over, go into that same V stitch, so into that chain one space, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through two. So we have 3 unfinished double crochets here, and we need to do one more. Yarn over, go into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through two. So now we have 4 unfinished double crochets, and this is where we're going to go ahead and finish this cluster and yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on the hook. And we've worked our first flower, which is a sequence of 4 double crochets worked together. Next, we're going to chain 2 and into the next chain 1 space, into the next V stitch, we're going to work another double crochet 4 together. So yarn over, go into that next V stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Do that 3 more times, pull through 2, and 3, 1 more. Now we have 5 loops on our hook and 4 unfinished double crochets. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on our hook. And we're going to continue this pattern throughout the end of the row. So we're going to chain 2 and work 4 double crochets together into the next V stitch. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then crochet all of them together and then chain 2. All right, so we're going to do this until our very last V stitch, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I am on my last one, so I'm going to work all 4 of these together. And after you work your last one, you don't want to chain 2 here, so we're going to finish the row with 1 double crochet. So yarn over, and we're going to work that double crochet into the top of that turning chain. So we had 3 chains there, and we're going to go into the top of those 3, and we're going to work a double crochet here. Okay, so next we're going to work with our white yarn again. So I have to go ahead and switch yarn colors. I'm going to snip my pink yarn here and bring in my white yarn. And again, you can change the colors in any method you prefer. So I'm going to do my method by going back 1 step before I finish off that last double crochet in my pink yarn, and finish it with that white yarn. Okay. For our next row, we're going to work a row of single crochets. First, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Our first single crochet is going to go into that very first stitch, and you can see it right there. So go ahead and work 1 single crochet into that very first stitch. Next, we're going to work 1 single crochet into the top of the flower. So if you turn your work here, this is your next stitch, and this is the stitch at the top of your flower. So we're going to work 1 single crochet here as well. Next, we're going to work 2 single crochets into that chain 2 space. So we had 2 chains here between our flowers, and we want to work 2 single crochets in this space. So we're going to go under those chains, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then finish off our single crochet. and then do that one more time. We're going to continue this pattern. So we're going to work 1 single crochet into the top of every flower, and then work 2 single crochets in every chain 2 space. One into the top of the flower and 2 into the chain 2 space. Once you reach the end of your row, you'll have 1 more single crochet in the top of that last flower, and then you're going to work 1 single crochet into the top of your turning chain. Again, so we had those 3 chains in the beginning of the previous row, and we're going to work a single crochet into the top chain right there. Here we go. And this row is finished. Once you complete this row, go ahead and count these stitches here. If you remember in the beginning, when you did that first row, I mentioned that you make sure and write down the stitch count here, and I had 15 stitches, so you should have 15 stitches here as well. So if you did everything correctly and you have the right amount of single crochets here, you should have the same stitch count as you had in row 2. And this is all for this stitch. From here on, you're going to repeat rows 2 through 5, so that row of single crochet. So next row is going to be that a row 2, a row of single crochets. Then the next row is going to be a row 3, which is a row of V-stitches, and then the following row is going to be a row of the 4 double crochets together, followed by chain 2, and then you're going to work row of single crochets by working 1 in the top of each flower and 2 in every chain 2 space. And so you're just going to keep repeating rows 2 through 5 until you have the desired size for your project. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to do so. I do have more stitch tutorials in there, and also some pattern tutorials as well, with more to come. Thank you and have a wonderful day.